The topics and opinions expressed on the following show are solely those of the hosts and their guests and not those of W4WN Radio, its employees, or affiliates. We make no recommendations or endorsements for radio show programs, services, or products mentioned on air or on our web. No liability, explicit or implied, shall be extended to W4WN Radio, its employees, or affiliates. Any questions or comments should be directed to those show hosts. Thank you for choosing W4WN Radio.
This is Beyond Confidence with your host, Divya Parekh. Do you want to live a more fulfilling life? Do you want to live your legacy and achieve your personal, professional, and financial goals? Well, coming up on Divya Parekh's Beyond Confidence, you will hear real stories of leaders, entrepreneurs, and achievers who have stepped into discomfort, shattered their status quo, and are living the life they want. You will learn how relationships are the key to achieving your aspirations and financial goals. Moving your career or business forward does not have to happen at the expense of your personal or family life, or vice versa. Learn more at www.divyaparekh.com, and you can connect with Divya at contact@divyaparekh.com. This is Beyond Confidence, and now here's your host, Divya Parekh.
Good morning. It's Tuesday morning, and I'm thrilled to be here with you, of course, because you, my dear audience, are the life of the show. And thank you for those emails and messages that you keep sending it to us, because that's what keeps me coming back week after week. And I want to share the Kindness Circle story today. So somebody shared that it was a very interesting story, and we are just going to call her Vicky. So Vicky shared that on Valentine's Day, it was just this past month. What happened was she had done a surprise and didn't tell her husband. And guess what? He had done a surprise as well. So then what she did was he was so enthusiastic and he shared it with her for the first before she could share. So she was so kind. She canceled her appointment and reservations, I think so they had a spa day, or not sure of the details. And what a beautiful gesture of kindness. It's not about I did or you did. So just wanted to share that with you. And remember to keep that kindness circle going, spending that hour of your time every month with no strings attached. And I will tell you, whenever you do even a small kind act for someone, you feel good. So you're not doing it for them. You're doing it for yourself. And for those of you who have got our books, Expert to Influencer and the Entrepreneur's Garden and others, we thank you. And keep the word going. And if you have not, we'd love for you to get it, because partial profits go to kiva.org, because I do believe entrepreneurs are very special. And let's bring in our guest. So I want to share with you that Chris is a very special person. We connected on LinkedIn, and his approach is completely different. So Chris, we usually start out from the beginning, which is, of course, childhood for everyone. Do you recall a moment or a person from your childhood or from your youth that left a positive mark on you?
Oh, wow. Yes, absolutely. Oh my gosh, this is so fun. My best friend growing up was named Tommy Pacello. And wow, I've never talked about him on a show before. Tommy and I grew up one house down from each other. And him and his family were just so kind to me. And Tommy's no longer with us. He passed a few years ago, way too young.
Sorry to hear that.
I know, yeah. And he left such, and him and his family just left such a positive impact on my life. I think about them all the time. And Tommy grew up like we all do, and he left an awesome positive impact on our community here in Memphis, Tennessee, where we're based. Just a super cool guy. And honestly, it was because they were just kind. Busy people like we all are, lots going on, but kind. And I always felt appreciated and loved and welcomed in their space. And that was really great.
Yeah, it's amazing how kindness can leave a mark on you. And just as you mentioned that, it reminded me of one of my school teachers. She was, I think so, a sub, and she had just come in. Probably she had taught us maybe just for a few months. And the whole, and probably I think since second grade or third grade, I don't remember. But her kindness touched us. And then later, few years later down the road, I found out that she had passed away very young. And but I still remember her to this day. And it's amazing how kindness will remain in your heart. So tell us, like, were you interested in something specifics as you were growing up?
Oh my gosh, yeah. So we grew up like skateboards, BMX bikes, play in the woods, you know. It was it was fun. It was great. My family was hit or miss on being great. They weren't the best, but I had some great folks around who were just super awesome. And kindness has stuck with me, really has. I appreciate
Ooh.
that. Thanks for bringing this up. This is really nice.
Absolutely. And how wonderful that you're talking about, playing in the woods because I cannot find anything more powerful than commuting with nature. And when you communicate with nature, I learn every single thing. In
Yeah.
just a very quick story, I was just at on the weekend at the dealership getting my oil changed. And of course, it was quite cold that day. And I'm like, okay, they're going to take a couple of hours. Let me just kind of step out. And these are still all gray trees, bare. And I saw this cardinal just sitting there, that bright spot of color, and my creativity just got sparked, and I wrote a poem. So tell us, like, as you grew up in the nature and professionally, where did your interest take you?
It stayed with adventure and nature. It really has. So
Mm,
I know what I do for a living is coach other coaches and experts how to build these high ticket masterminds group coaching programs, but that was driven out of my love for adventure and nature. My entrepreneurial journey has followed a track of wanting more free time and more space, more opportunity to take myself and our family and friends out for adventures. I freaking love it. I love community, and I think what I keep doing as an entrepreneur is I keep looking for ways to grow in ways that builds more community for ourselves and others and freedom. I happen to love adventure and outdoors, but some people love different things. Like they love spending more time with friends, love curating their wine collection, love pursuing art, whatever it is. I just want people to have the freedom and the community to thrive, and that's what really is meaningful to me. I have one tattoo, Divya. You don't notice. I have one tattoo on the inside of my left bicep, and it's the word free, because that has just been such a meaningful word to me in my life. It's just pursuing freedom and remaining free with the choices we make on a daily basis.
absolutely. So tell us, like, when you talk about adventures, what kind of adventures do you like?
Oh, that's funny. This is gonna be funny. We love adventures. So we love anything that's out in the wild. So we've done lots of electric skateboarding. I've done a tremendous amount of high alpine mountaineering in some very cold alpine, snowy, icy regions, lots of ice climbing. We've free dived in so many oceans around the world. We've been free diving with sharks multiple times. Gosh, lots of surfing adventures. The two times I thought lots of traveling around the world. We backpacked through Europe with our five kids. I mean, we like to play and we like to meet new people that are not like us. And most of our adventures, even though we like say, oh, we're going to go to this location so we can dive with sharks out in the Pacific somewhere, or whatever. It's like the adventure is the thing we're Googling and figuring out how to do, but the adventure always takes us to a place and with people that we have nothing in common with. And we end up falling in love with culture and community and people all over the place because it turns out we have everything in common with other humans on this planet. We all want the best for our families, the best for ourselves. We all want to be healthy. We want to be in great places and positions where we can do the things that create opportunity for us and those we love. And it's just wonderful to get to actually see new people doing that in different ways.
Absolutely. And what you're sharing is that what you can do and the way and how you do one thing, you do the rest of the things as well. So
Mhm.
you talked about adventures, and there are so many people And I'm not saying everybody got to do adventures. It's
Yeah.
basically whatever brings you joy.
Mhm.
As you mentioned earlier, the key is that you don't let the obstacles deter you or stop you. Yes, they can cause the delay, but they cannot deter you. So, what I'm hearing is that, like, even with kids, what you're doing is you're making them part of your adventures. It's not like just, oh, I'm going, with you and your partner, or you're just going on a guy's trip or anything like that. You're making that whole family event and they're growing up seeing that. So, what a beautiful lesson. So, what would you tell a lot of professionals and entrepreneurs like, oh, my kids are young and it's just a hassle, and how can I go about it?
Wait, before I say that answer, that's my perspective on this, Divya, let me just say how interesting this show is. I'm I'm lucky enough to be on a lot of stages and a lot of podcasts, and you're asking questions that nobody ever asks. This is really great. So, all you lucky listeners out there listening to Divya, I'm super thrilled. This is so fun. Keep listening to more episodes. This is super cool. Okay, so the like
Thank
really
you.
unique.
Appreciate that.
Yeah, really unique. This is great. So many podcasters, the same old stuff, same old questions. This is really great. So, um, how have we? What was the question? How have we incorporated kids and that sort of thing, family
Mhm.
into what we do?
Yep.
Okay, two directions here. One, I personally am not a fan of working with family or friends. It just, in my experience, it creates more times than not, more often than not, it creates a lot of heartache and hardship and
Mhm.
conflict and things like that. That just puts more strain. Friendships and family already have enough relational dynamics to put enough strain on that relationship, and it can go really well. But there's already enough tensions around that. I think it's easier to keep that separate from business. So that's been our choice as a family. That's what we've done. So Jill and I don't work together. Our kids don't work in our business, and we don't work with our extended family. That's just been our rule, and it's served us well. I know some people do it very successfully. Maybe it's me.
I think so.
Okay.
That's a golden rule to have because I'll tell you, my son was, well, he's even now very tech savvy and he used to help me out. And he was like, yeah, I used to help you out. And I'm like, oh, okay, good. Like we are working differently. I agree
but
about that.
but as you know, traveling and being in part of other cultures around the world, a lot of cultures do that extremely well. But for some reason, here in our American culture, more often than not, it goes south. And I don't want to do that. Obviously, there's some families who do it very, very well. Okay. Now, from a how we incorporate family and friends and kids, whatever, into other things, is we just treat everybody like we want to be treated. I think that's like the golden rule, right? Do unto others as you want to have them do unto you. And I'm not saying we're saints and we're perfect. I'm just saying, like, when it comes to direct messaging on LinkedIn, when it comes to talking to our kids, when it comes to hanging out with our in-laws, when it comes to just sitting over a cup of coffee in somewhere we've never been to before, I people are people. They just want to be able to say hey and have you find out something interesting about them. They want to find out something interesting about you. And you can take that theme and put it into how you do a family holiday, how you do a major trip, how you plan an anniversary. Like the example you gave about Valentine's Day a few minutes ago. That couple was kind enough to each other to treat the other person like they'd want to be treated. What a beautiful example.
Yeah. So now you have said something very powerful and insightful. You said that treat people the way you want to be treated. And when you're treating people, whether it's in person or online, it's no different. So, a lot of our listeners, they may be thinking, okay, I'm an entrepreneur and or I'm a professional, somebody may have a job or somebody has a toxic boss because when I'm coaching people, whether it's entrepreneurs or executives or leaders or corporate professionals, it's like, gosh, whether it's like this is this toxic boss, I want to leave. So they're looking for jobs, they're looking to transition. And one thing I keep on hearing from so many of my clients that, oh, that posting and that time and SEO and hashtag, it just kills my creativity. And I know, Chris, you have found a beautiful workaround it. So why don't you share with our audience in details, whoever they are, how can they show up on any social media platform and build those meaningful connections?
Oh, this is so much easier than people make it. I know people make this so complicated, and I'm sorry for those of you who feel like, oh, it's so complicated, because it doesn't have to be. Number one, get somebody to help you. If that's a team member, a VA, another outsourced company, whatever, get somebody to help you with all the things you don't want to do. So if you don't like creating posts, if you don't like doing podcast editing, if you don't like having to follow up with people, if the details aren't your jam, it's okay. It's not my thing either. I like relationships with people. So I have an awesome team around me who helps me do the stuff that I think we should be doing, but that they're awesome at and I'm not. Like, I haven't created my own social media posts, like the creative, the artwork, the copy, all that kind of stuff, in a very long time, because your team member can take a podcast episode like this and create 100 amazing posts for whatever social platform they want to, just from this. So we will take something like this and repurpose it. That's number one. Get somebody to help you with the parts that you don't love doing. Focus on what you love doing. I like personally the part where it's really good relationships. So if we're communicating with somebody on LinkedIn or Facebook or Instagram or whatever, I really like personal interaction. I like finding out, how are things actually going for you? What's working? What's not? Tell me more. I like hearing that. Divya, I think you and I met, we've been referred by several people back and forth, but I think we met on one of our community group sort of
Mm-hmm.
calls a couple times a month. Yeah. I mean, you see that process. The reason I like having a group call with new people who are meeting as a Group Coach Nation is I like actually interacting with everybody and seeing, tell me what's working, what's not. What problems can we solve as a group? Like, let's get to it. So for me, the reason it works, the details are not as important as people think. The reason it works is because I actually enjoy and practice getting to know real people. And when you do that, you learn what they need and how you can help, and you learn who they are and the pain that they've gone through, or the joys that they've had, and where to kind of orient that relationship. If you can help them, help them. If you can't, now you know enough to probably refer them to somebody else that you know that probably could help them. And that's super important.
Yeah, very powerful. And I saw that. And that's so I was very pleasantly surprised because when we were in the conversation, Chris was genuinely interested in how he could help us. And that goes back to wherever you are at, whether you're an entrepreneur or a professional. Don't think about what the other person could do for you.
Mm.
Because when you're thinking, oh, what's in it for me? Like, oh, I'm sending all the messages. Think about, like, if you're on their LinkedIn profile, just don't look at the title and all that. Go down and look at what kind of post they've posted, look at their about section, and see what's passionate about that. And see what's really resonating with you, being authentic, being genuine. And when you seek out and then be clear about your intention. So many times what happens is that people are hesitant to reach out to others. What would you recommend to people? I believe that it's important to state your intention and expectation upfront so people know, what to expect. What are your thoughts?
I think reaching out to people is a critical step of human relationship. Let's just start there. If you're at a neighborhood party or a celebration a friend is having, and there's a group of people there, you go up and you say, hey, I'm Chris. I'm, yeah, like, how are you? Where do you live? Where are you from? How do you know the host? Whatever. You just have conversation. That I'm an introvert, Divya. So and it's hard for me sometimes to go to parties. It's kind of emotionally exhausting, all that kind of stuff. You
Mm-hmm.
introverts know what I'm talking about. But we have to get out there and do the thing. And once we get to know a few people, it makes the room so much easier to hang out in. So number one, just treat the people online in your business relationships just like you would anybody else. Just get to know people. And Two, let that relationship develop. Yeah, sure. If you're reaching out to someone on LinkedIn, it's probably not because you're hoping they'll come to your neighbor's birthday party. It's because there's a professional relationship going on here, right?
Right.
But they're still humans. It's still okay to say, hey, I saw you were in the aerospace industry. Super fascinating. Love what you do out there. Can't wait to see what the next 20 years hold for all of us. Um, Thanks for the connection. And just leave it at that. They're going to respond back with, oh my gosh, it's so great to meet you. Looks like you're in the coaching space. That's super cool. Tell me more about what you do. They're going to say that. And you're going to say, well, we help people in the aerospace community figure out how to climb the corporate ladder. No way, that's super cool. And then you can say, so how about you? Like, how's it working? What's not in your industry? Not even specifically for them, because they might not be shy about talking about what's working, what's not as people try to move up the ladder in the aerospace world. They'll start giving you insights. And then all of a sudden you get a chance to say, and how's that working for you? And you might have a coaching client in just a few minutes. It's not that hard. It's just real people talk. Real people. No big deal.
Absolutely. And that's the key. It's the real people deal. So, okay, you talked about the first couple of steps. Any other tips on how to continue building that relationship?
I just let it go where it goes. We're constantly looking. Here's what we're looking to do in a relationship for professional relationships, right? Yes. You're on LinkedIn. We'll just talk LinkedIn for a second. It can be Facebook, Instagram, doesn't matter. We'll just use LinkedIn as an example. You're on LinkedIn, they're on LinkedIn. We're here for a reason. Typically, LinkedIn is for connections and for opportunities for both parties. Just is what it is, right? Facebook and Instagram might be a little more oriented towards they just want to scroll and entertain themselves for an hour. So can LinkedIn be. But there's lots of great business conversations on the other platforms too. Once that conversation starts, like I just kind of set up, something simple like that, then it's just a matter of if you want to talk to people in the aerospace community, just making that one up, and you're a coach in that space, you can find people in the aerospace community. You can start that kind of relationship. And you're just listening for, hey, what are the trends that I could help with? That'll give you a lot of information for your next LinkedIn post, for instance. Here's some trends, some things I've heard from people. And you could talk about that. It give you a thing for a podcast. It could give you stuff for blogs or whatever. It also gives you a chance to ask that person after they give you a little insight. Okay, I understand a little more. How's that going for you? And then you get to talk about them specifically. What's working, what's not. And if you see them say, hey, it's frustrating out here. It is what it is. It's a really competitive industry. I wish there was a clearer path. Something like that. Then you just simply say, hey, you know what? This is what I coach in. Would a one-on-one call be helpful? I'd love to just spend a few minutes, and if I can point you in the right direction, I absolutely will. You'll be shocked how many people say yes. And you get them on a call and you find out, should you help them right there on the call, or are they somebody you should actually start a client relationship with and work with them long-term to help them achieve their goals? And when you see the opportunity, just say, this is what I do. Would love to help you. How do we go forward? You can absolutely do that, and you can make those connections happen. I think that's a really important piece to understand. Just follow that thread.
Absolutely. What a powerful way to approach it. So what I'm hearing is approach with curiosity, just like as if you were in a neighborhood party for a barbecue or whatever you are. Like we used to have so many, oh gosh, some good memories.
Mm-hmm.
So when you approach with curiosity and you're there to genuinely learn about that person, then what happens is that you share that intention upfront that, hey, listen, I'm just here not for sales, nothing for, I mean, you're not sharing, but like, and it will show in your words. And when you have that conversation, it's just like, let's see where it goes. And that's what you do, Chris. And like, see what happened. Like, we connected and I realized like, yep, Chris would be a perfect candidate for my podcast, and opportunities arise organically. And
And I'm
they
so grateful
are
you
so
asked.
great.
Like, this is a great connection. I'm so glad you asked, because I wouldn't have known that we could have this conversation if you hadn't asked. So always, everybody, just ask people. It's okay.
And so many times what happens is that people get in their own way. It's more in their head, oh, if I ask, what is the other person going to think? What would you advise them?
First, ask what you can do for them, ask how you can help them, listen to them, understand them, and then you're free to ask for, hey, would you mind doing this? Here's a cool thing. Remember this. If you're asking someone to be on your podcast, if you're asking for someone to be your client, if you're asking someone to whatever, like help you move because they have a pickup truck and you need somebody with a pickup truck, asks come on a scale of how helpful they are to both parties or just one party. So, for instance, asking someone to be on a podcast is often really helpful for both parties because we all get to get more exposure, do all that kind of stuff, right?
Right.
Asking someone to be your client is helpful to both parties. Yes, they're going to pay you, but you're going to help them overcome something. On the other end, asking someone, can you help me move something with your pickup truck is really more one-sided. So maybe it's, hey, would you help me move something with your pickup truck? And I'd love to buy you lunch. It's a way to work that out, but always make sure it's two-sided and balanced and everybody wins.
Yeah, so basically what you're saying is that move beyond transactional. Just don't think what's in it for me and what they can do for me, rather than approach what could you do for them. And so many times, you'll be surprised. You may think, oh, that person is like so high up. What could I do for them? And sometimes it can be as simple as hopping on their post, liking it, and leaving a genuine comment and even endorsing them. So there can be little things you could even kind of share. Like, one of the things that I've done is that has helped me is that, like, hey, this is my list of connections, and some connections are LinkedIn connections. I may not know them as well, but I'm happy to introduce you. Now, where it goes, I don't know, but happy to make connections. And sometimes, people respond, sometimes they don't. So there are ways you can do things for others. Now, let's say, people have formed the connection and we've talked about one-on-one. How about building a community on these social media platforms? How can people go about it? Because so many times, unfortunately, there are people who talk big but don't deliver. How can
Yeah.
people sift through it and know who's genuine and who's not?
Okay, that's actually a good question. How do you see the real people? I wish there was a clearer way to do this.
Mhm.
I look for testimonials, reviews, that sort of thing. Even on something like LinkedIn, you can have people, if you want to be seen as an expert. I actually haven't even checked my LinkedIn for this, so I know this is real. In our LinkedIn or anybody else LinkedIn, I know there's a section where you can leave comments about someone and say, here's what my experience with this person. That's a great place to have people who are fans of yours leave comments for you. Again, I'm saying this, I have no idea if there's any comments in my LinkedIn or not. I haven't even checked. But things like that. There's also ways like on our website, the groupcoachnation.com website, we let our clients leave testimonials about their experience at Group Coach Nation. I look for that kind of stuff. I look for social proof, not just a good website or a big promise, but have other people said, yeah, this is really great. Because there are people who are very good marketers, but maybe not delivering exactly what they promised. And that's a unfortunate thing. And I think truly, Divya, I think a lot of those people mean really well, and maybe they get overwhelmed with the workload or they just don't quite know how to deliver what they promise. I don't think most of them are really bad people, but it's unfortunate that people get hurt out there in the coaching space or in any space.
Absolutely. No, you're right on the mark. It's not that people don't want to deliver. Usually 80 to 90% of people do want to deliver. And so thank you for sharing that. Those are some of the good ways. And then in your journey, what would you say are the top 5 etiquette rules for online? Because so many times people are like, you can see that they've seen the message, whether it's LinkedIn or social, like, Instagram or Facebook Messenger, I mean, everything different. And then they don't respond, even if they have given their word. So to me, here's the thing, like, what you're doing when nobody's seeing or what you're doing when everybody's seeing, that doesn't have to be a difference. I'd love to
Mm-hmm.
hear from you. What are those 3 to 4 or 5, like whatever you think are the top
Yeah.
etiquette rules?
I'll see how many I can think of, but I know of a couple off the top of my mind. The first one is do what you say you're going to do. Be honest. All right.
Mhm.
If you're an expert at something, say you're an expert at something. It's okay to say that. If you're not an expert at something, then don't talk about that thing. It's not your lane. And you don't have to be an expert in everything. We're all grown-ups here, and we know that nobody can be good at everything. I am so not good at most things. So I talk about what I'm good at, what I'm an expert at, and I don't talk about the things I'm not good at. That's number one. Just be who you are. Number two, use a professional writer or something like an AI, Chat GPT, Claude, whatever you want to use to help you write your posts or communicate your ideas, unless you are a professional writer already. Here's why: you're really awesome. Your clients really need you. You're doing you and them a disservice if you just try to hack your way through this thing. At this point in time, there are free or almost free options out there that can get such great communication and help you say the right things to your audience. Learn how to do that. It will really, really work. Okay. I to the point where I have several people in my world that I lean in on quite frequently to actually get like what's the right thing to say. And on that note, true, like I would say the first thing is be honest, be who you are, right? That's absolutely number one. Number
Mhm.
two, make sure you have a structure that allows you to actually like really do a good job communicating your ideas and your topics. So extremely important. Amy Yamada, A-M-Y, and her, I'm gonna spell her last name, Yamada. Amy Yamada has, I shameless plug here for Amy. She's freaking awesome at this. She has a very simple system that you can buy that allows you to put a little bit of detail in about who you want to serve, what market you're after, basically, and what you do. And it asks some questions. It takes like 5 minutes and it gives you like emails and social media posts and ideas and what it gives you so much around what you could be doing for your market. So Google Amy Yamada. There's not that many Amy Yamadas out there, and reach out to her because she has a great tool set for that. That'd be number two. Number three, when it comes to actually communicating well out there online, one of my top things, and I'll leave it at three, is follow up. Frequently, people will make a post, they'll DM a bunch of people, whatever, and then that process gets kind of complicated because if you've DM'd 20 new contacts for the past 10 weeks. Now we got 200 people, and a lot of those might not get back to you, but let's say 100 of them get back to you. Now you're in 100 conversations. Have a spreadsheet or something, a tool like Flowchat. Look up Flowchat. Tell them
Mhm.
Chris Williams sent you. Tell them Amy Yamadas. I think both of these give you a discount, by the way, if you tell them Chris Williams sent you. We know the Flowchat creators really, really well. We've used Flowchat many times as well. Flowchat is a software that allows you to automate and keep up with the direct messages on multiple social media platforms, all the big ones. And it works really, really well. And they have training around that. So that follow through process, you got to be authentic. You got to have good copy and good writing. So be authentic. That's on you. Get good copy and good writing. Contact Amy. Use Flowchat to have those conversations structured and organized in a simple software because it allows you to keep up with the volume of things, comments, direct messages, all that stuff. Otherwise, it gets overwhelming. If you have those simple tools, like that package right there, by the way, we subscribe to these things too. I'm not telling you something we don't do ourselves. That package right there is a very simple prospecting machine that gets real people in real conversations and allows you to do that with enough volume that you can actually run a business off of it. And that's really important. If you don't have the volume, you're going to constantly be struggling. And that's not a roller coaster we want to be on.
Yeah, no, those are very helpful tips. And tell us, where can people connect with you? And what's the best way to do it? And anything
Look,
that you'd like to share about your program,
yeah,
because I'm sure some of our people are going to be curious about it. So,
Absolutely. I'm super easy to find. Chris Williams, Group Coach Nation. If you just Google Group Coach Nation and Chris Williams, or Chris Williams, Group Coach Nation, either one, you'll find our social media platforms, websites, tons of other platforms we've been on. You'll find all kind of stuff. Chris Williams is my name. Group Coach Nation is the company that I started. At Group Coach Nation, we teach experts how to build high-end group coaching programs and masterminds so you can actually get your time back and get the revenue up. That's what we do.
So would you like to share with our audience a little bit about your process, like, how you take, just kind of sharing a user journey, like,
Sure.
what can they expect and what outcomes can they look for?
Yeah, absolutely. The user journey is all about you as the audience member. And I mean that sincerely. All of us start at different places. Some people already have big speaking gigs, they're best-selling authors, they have a huge audience, and we have pathways for that. Some people are like, I've been coaching for a year, I've got 3 clients, and I want to start my first group. We have pathways for that. It comes down to, where are you now? How big is your audience? You don't have to have a huge audience. You can have a very small one, but how big is your audience? Do you have an offer that's already selling or not? How good are you at selling? How good are you at prospecting? We have to find out all those things, and our website talks a lot about those things. We got to find out those things so we know, okay, where do you need to start in the journey? And then we make sure that we just get you to the closest path to cash. We want you to get cash flow going as soon as possible, regardless of what stage you're at in your business.
All right. So you meet people where they're at, and it's not just that one size fits all program that, hey, you got to do this step, 5 steps to my 5-step formula. More, it's like personalized, what I'm hearing from you.
Everybody's different, and everybody has a different market and a different background, different skill set. And there's definitely common traits and themes that flow through doing this successfully. We just want to put you on the track where you should start. Yeah.
Absolutely. That's a great way to help your customers and clients, because that's what I believe in as well, because nobody is similar to anybody else. Everybody's journey is different. Everybody is unique. You are unique, and what a powerful way. So feel free to connect with Chris, and you'll have his information, and we'll be putting it in show notes as well. Any last words that you'd like to share?
Everybody, like Divya said, be kind, be authentic, be real. Just do really good work for real people, and you'll be great. Just make sure you have a system around it to help you get that up to scale where you need to. But be real, be kind.
Thank you, Chris, for joining us. It was such a pleasure to talk with you. Don't know where the time went by, and thank you, wonderful audience, for being part of our show, and keep those stories coming in. It's just so amazing to hear from you and how we can help you and support you live the best life you can. And thank you, Juan, for making the show technically possible. Be well and take care, and see you all next time.
Bye, everybody.
Thank you for being part of Beyond Confidence with your host, Divya Parekh. We hope you have learned more about how to start living the life you want. Each week on Beyond Confidence, you hear stories of real people who have experienced growth by overcoming their fears and building meaningful relationships. During Beyond Confidence, Divya Parekh shares what happened to her when she stepped out of her comfort zone to work directly with people across the globe. She not only coaches people how to form heart connections, but also transform relationships to mutually beneficial partnerships as they strive to live the life they want. If you are ready to live the life you want and leverage your strengths, learn more at www.divyaparekh.com. And you can connect with Divya at contact@divyaparekh.com. We look forward to you joining us next week.